For as long as I can remember, Itachi has been the source of numerous memes and passionate discussions amongst Naruto fans. There were memes saying that Itachi solos Madara, Photoshop scans showing Itachi defeating Hashirama Senju, and legit discussions that Prime Itachi could defeat the legendary Sannin on his own. Well, if you've ever wondered just how strong and how skilled Itachi was, this is a video for you, so grab those ramen bowls and bring a friend. I just want to start this off by saying that while looking at Itachi's power, keep in mind for the fact that for most of the series, Itachi was plagued with a terminal disease that crippled his chakra reserves, his stamina, his strength, and his speed. In the Naruto Jin Raiden novel, it was revealed that the medicines that Itachi took were so strong that just one dosage was enough to nearly strip away all sense of equilibrium, making it nearly impossible for even a trained ninja to keep their balance for a prolonged period. But Itachi took this medicine to dull the constant pain that he felt from his illness, and despite the strength of the drug, a sickened Itachi displayed insane feats. On more than one occasion, he was shown being able to weave hand signs faster than even a trained Sharingan eye could track, with two examples being the part 1 fight with Kakashi and the Sasuke fight in part 2, where Itachi was on his deathbed, still weave hand signs faster than Sasuke could track, and Itachi did all of this while nearly blind. Before we get to his Sharingan, let's look at Itachi's mastery of chakra nature. Being an Uchiha gives him extremely strong affinity for fire release, but in the manga it was shown in volume 17 and again during the 4th Great Ninja War that Itachi had mastery of water release jutsu as well. And in Naruto Databook 4, Masashi Kishimoto wrote that Itachi also had mastery over wind release, which means that he could have combined wind release with his fire style and water style attacks, making the jutsu that Itachi could unleash that much more powerful when he amps them using wind chakra. Now let's get to Itachi's Sharingan. His Eye of Insight allows him to predict movements by looking at his target's muscles as they twitch. He can predict their hand seals before his enemy finishes casting his jutsu, and he can copy ninjutsu, and he can see chakra in the form of a color. The Eye of Hypnotism allows Itachi to place his target under Sharingan Genjutsu, which in itself is powerful enough that it easily overpowered Kurenai, who in her own right was a Genjutsu master. Sharingan Genjutsu, when it comes to Itachi, becomes even more dangerous when you consider the fact that Itachi can place a target under Genjutsu by using only his finger, which makes fighting him that much more difficult of a task. Now, when you look at his Mangekyo Sharingan, we see some of Itachi's most deadly jutsu. Amaterasu produces flames so powerful that they can't be put out. Itachi has to build chakra in his eye, then lock onto the target, and then the flames begin to burn whatever it hits. His Susanoo can be used in both an offensive and defensive manner, with the thick chakra humanoid avatar acting as protection and then being an extension of Itachi's will, allowing him to attack his enemies as he sees fit. His Yata mirror can block even the most overpowered attacks, changing its chakra nature to nullify whatever attack hits it. And his Tosuka blade has sealing abilities. Though he doesn't use it often, if you look closely, Itachi's Susanoo also has a dagger on it, which often gets overlooked since Itachi uses his Tosuka blade so often in battle. Itachi can even summon a Susanoo fist to attack his opponent, manifesting the arm even when he isn't using the full Susanoo, with the biggest drawback of Itachi's Susanoo being that he only has a Mangekyo Sharingan, and using the Susanoo places an extreme amount of strain on his eyes and on his stamina, which is why Itachi only used Susanoo sparingly. Itachi also possesses chakra suppression jutsu, which is a jutsu that allows him to suppress his own chakra and the chakra of his allies to the point where not even a sensory ninja can track them, which was shown in one of the novels that featured Itachi. The drawback of this jutsu is that when he uses it, Itachi is unable to use ninjutsu or genjutsu due to the amount of chakra that is used for this jutsu. One of my favorite ninjutsu that Itachi has is the Great Clone Explosion Jutsu, which allows Itachi to use a shadow clone to attack his enemy and then blow up the clone at any time Itachi sees fit. Speaking of clones, Itachi's Crow Clone Jutsu is impressive as hell, especially when you consider the fact that Itachi had to monitor how much chakra he used in battle, because overdoing it would cause his illness to sap away his stamina even faster than it already did. When Itachi projects his own chakra onto the flock of crows, and because he uses the crows as a medium, it uses less chakra than the shadow clone, but it still allows Itachi to attack his enemies. At any given point, Itachi can disperse the clones, have them regroup, and then form an entirely different clone, all without using the chakra that he would have normally used for substitution and shadow clone jutsu. Also, once the clone is defeated, Itachi still has control over the crows, meaning he can use them to bombard his enemy, blinding them long enough for him to launch his next attack. Demonic Illusion Mirage Claw is a jutsu that can be triggered by Itachi without eye contact, and in the Genjutsu, Itachi has crows attack his target from a distance. Demonic Illusion Mirror Heaven and Earth Change is a jutsu that Itachi uses with his Sharingan. Itachi uses his Sharingan to break down the Genjutsu the enemy uses and instantly reflects the Genjutsu back on the caster within a split second of it being casted, and hands out mental damage to his target, briefly stunning them when they realize they've been hit with the jutsu. This is a more advanced version of a basic Genjutsu reversal, in that the Sharingan is needed to immediately break down the Genjutsu that's casted and then immediately flip the jutsu back on the caster before they realize they've been hit with it. Now, I'm gonna warn you guys, the next few jutsu are really dark, but it shows just how powerful Itachi is and how scary a bloodlusty Itachi is in battle. Demonic Illusion Shackling Stakes takes the basic Sharingan Genjutsu and then it ramps it up to another level. Itachi places his target under Genjutsu, then places them in an illusionary world that Itachi controls, much like his Tsukuyomi, and then he binds their movements using iron stakes. While they're unable to move, Itachi tortures the enemy by piercing them with those iron spikes. While only in an illusion, Itachi's Genjutsu is so elaborate that the target's body actually begins to think that it's experiencing the pain that is caused in this Genjutsu world. Speaking of Genjutsu, this is where it gets dark. We can't talk about Genjutsu without going over Tsukuyomi, and I'll just say this now, this Genjutsu is even more broken than you guys realize. Now I'm about to explain to you why. If you thought Demonic Illusion Shackling Stakes was crazy, check out what the Tsukuyomi can do when Itachi uses it to its full extent. In the second Itachi novel, Midnight, when Itachi went to kill Izumi, as stated by Obito in the Naruto manga, Itachi used Tsukuyomi on her. It was shown that in 1/100th of 1,000th of 1/1,000,000th of a second, Itachi placed Izumi under Tsukuyomi, placed her in a Genjutsu where she lived 70 years as his wife, raising their children, watching their children start family and become ninjas of their own, and then Izumi dying with Itachi at her side in her final moments. The Genjutsu was so elaborate that Itachi was able to convince her brain that Izumi, instead of being 13 years old, was now an 80-year-old woman dying of old age, and as a result, her brain began to shut down, killing Izumi and making her think that she was now the 80-year-old wife of Itachi and was dying in his arms. In the same novel, Itachi is shown using Tsukuyomi to kill when he tortures his target in the Genjutsu, and once he died in the illusion, his real-life body immediately died afterwards, just like it did with Izumi. Now, you see just how much Kakashi was right when he said that Itachi was holding back. When you look at the times that Itachi Itachi used Tsukuyomi both on Kakashi and on Sasuke, only placing them under Genjutsu for 72 hours and leaving them in a comatose state, so damaged that only Tsunade could reverse the effects of the jutsu. Even Kakashi was able to realize that if Itachi wanted to, he could have killed him using the Genjutsu, which is why Kakashi asked why he didn't just kill him. The drawback to this jutsu is that it consumes so much chakra that Itachi tries not to fight after using it, which is largely why Kisame grew worried when Itachi used Amaterasu and Tsukuyomi when they tried to capture Naruto. While Tsunade was the only one who was able to reverse the damage done by the Genjutsu, Itachi revealed the secret to reversing the jutsu if someone's left in a comatose state. Itachi stated in the Akatsuki Hiden novel, Evil Flowers in Full Bloom, that if a person's subconsciousness focused on love and used it to mend their broken spirit, that they could eventually regain consciousness. Fire release jutsu that Itachi can use are the Fire Style Jutsu, Great Fireball Jutsu, Phoenix Flower Jutsu, Phoenix Sage Flower, Crimson Nail Jutsu, which sees Itachi combine fireballs with the shuriken he throws, and even after hitting the target, the shuriken continue to burn away. On the opposite side, we have his water style jutsu that Itachi can use. The water style water dragon jutsu requires a large quantity of chakra, but it shapes the attack into a dragon and slams into the target with an enormous concentrated force. If Itachi is nearby a source of water, he can use that for the base of his attack, cutting down the amount of chakra that he would use for the jutsu. Water Fang Bullet Jutsu is the same jutsu that Itachi used in his battle with Kakashi and Kurenai in the manga. This attack is best used when on a water surface. What this jutsu does is it impales the enemy with drills of water, and Itachi can shoot the drills out of water at any given point, which means if you're fighting him on a water surface, he can pierce you from any direction, which makes him dangerous given his hand seal speed and his penchant for using diversions in battle. Izanami is perhaps the most broken genjutsu in the series according to some people, though I would argue for Tsukuyomi since it can actually kill a person. Izanami is complex as hell, and honestly it deserves its own video, but I'll break this down as best as I can. Stated to be the ultimate genjutsu of the Uchiha clan, Izanami creates an illusion that affects the target's senses and physical sensations. To start the technique, Itachi must choose a moment in time, use his Sharingan to memorize the sensations and the minute details of the moment, memorize his own body sensations, memorize every detail about his enemy, memorize every detail about his enemy's sensations, and he has to record it into his Sharingan. And that's only step 1. Step 2 is even more complex. Itachi has to take all the information that he's recorded and then replicate it in every single way down to the most microscopic detail. He then uses Izanami to overlap and connect the replication with the sensations that he recorded in his own body and the sensations of his target. He then recreates the flow of time that passes in that moment. He then entraps the consciousness of his enemy in the infinite loop. Simple as it seems, that's not quite it. That's just for one moment. In the battle with Kabuto, Itachi memorized multiple moments and actions, each requiring him to perform the same 2 steps over and over. So instead of A and B, it was A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on and so on. For every sensation that Itachi memorized, the more attention to detail his jutsu required, and the more complex his infinite loop was that he trapped his enemy in, which makes the fight with Kabuto seem that much more impressive. But before we get out of here, as always guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share, and never forget that Senju DNA is love and Senju DNA is life.